going back to the time of the Great Depression, and we are going to look at a recipe that was something that a lot of families made. Now, they used a lot of different kinds of ingredients because back then it was really what you could get and how much you could feed people with. So we're gonna start with a head of cabbage, and I'm gonna substitute some ground turkey instead of some ground beef today, and we're gonna make some stuffed cabbage rolls. So we're gonna start off by cooking up some onions. I've got them cooking in about a tablespoon of some olive oil. And we just want these translucent. We're gonna add our ground turkey, and you could use ground beef if you like. I'm using ground turkey today just because I wanna make this a little bit healthier option. It's still gonna be really, really good. So one of the reasons that cabbage rolls were such a great Great Depression meal was that you could take a few leaves off for dinner. You could save the rest of your cabbage. You could make it into a casserole. You could, turn it into soup. There's all kinds of things. You could make it into coleslaw. But a lot of families back then grew many of their vegetables. So this was a staple in a lot of people's homes. So I've basically pulled off enough cabbage leaves for tonight. Usually I steam them if I'm gonna do the whole cabbage, but I'm gonna wash these. And then we're gonna go ahead and get a little bit of cauliflower rice instead of using rice, but you could use rice if you prefer. So let me show you the healthier way to do it with the cauliflower. So you have your choice of using a nice rice. Now, I always prefer basmati rice, but I use all kinds of different rices. So I'm not going to be using that today. I'm going to be using a beautiful cauliflower. And again, what I really like is that this is going to make a dinner for tonight, but it's also going to make a dinner for another night. So all I'm going to do is take some of these leaves off of some of this cauliflower, and then I'm gonna wash them after the cauliflower is taken off this little thing here. And honestly, that's probably gonna be enough for us for tonight. I'll probably do these, maybe this much. That looks good. So I'm gonna put the rest of this back. I'm gonna put it, actually I think I'll go ahead and just cut it into florets. And then I'm gonna put it in a bag and decide throughout the week what I'm gonna be using the rest of this for. But for now, I'm gonna wash the cabbage leaves and the cauliflower and get them steamed up so that we can get the rest of our meal started. So now that I've got them clean, I'm gonna put them in with a little bit of water and just steam them over the stove. So the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add some home canned pasta sauce. Again, this is something that people would have had on hand from their gardens. A lot of people canned and used what they had or what they could barter with neighbors. For now, I'm gonna add a little bit of pepper. I'm gonna add a little bit of chopped onion. And I'm also gonna add some garlic powder, about a teaspoon, and a little salt. Now, before I left my house, I actually dug up a few potatoes out of my garden. And so I'm gonna go ahead and just clean these and peel them. And I'm gonna make a few mashed potatoes. Now I'm not gonna do a lot just because of the carbs and everything, but I did wanna have some with this particular meal because this is how my grandma always served it, and I ate a lot of cabbage rolls. So this was something that we had so much as a family that every year on my birthday, I would ask my mom to make me cabbage rolls with mashed potatoes. This is kind of a treat for me. I really, really, really enjoy it. And I think it's going to be extra special tonight because I can make it a little bit more healthy, and it's just fun knowing that I grew these potatoes myself. So let me show you how I do my cauliflower. Now I'm going to cut these bigger pieces off because they're not going to mash up as good. So they're all cleaned and steamed. So the white florets I'm going to put directly into a bowl. So all I do is take a potato masher, and when I have all my tools together, I actually put everything in a mini food processor, but I don't have any of that here in the apartment, so we're just gonna make do with what we have. I'm just gonna add this cauliflower rice in and just mix it together like we would rice. Honestly, I think the cooked cauliflower actually gives it a more delicious flavor than the rice. That's just my opinion. And it's really, really healthy that way. Of course, moderate amounts of rice are not bad at all. A lot of the world eats rice every day. It's not unhealthy, but it's all the other things that you fix with it that really make it good. Now you can do this two ways. You can do this in an oven. You can also do it in a crock pot, which is actually more what I prefer. But today we're gonna do the oven. And all I'm gonna do is pour some of this pasta sauce right on the bottom. Now we've got this, I'm gonna put a couple of these pieces of cauliflower head in here because these are gonna cook down. You don't have to worry about them not cooking up. And all I'm gonna do is add some of this mixture to my cabbage rolls. Now these are small little cabbage rolls, but they're still gonna come out really good. I just kind of turn them upside down. Let me move this around so you can see. Just give them a little roll. See how easy this is? If I had more cabbage, I would do more of these, but I'm gonna be going out for dinner tomorrow night and my husband's not even gonna be here, so I didn't really wanna make too many. Plus I can save this and freeze it for another day. And you can see how these could go a long, long way. A family would fill up a whole tray of these and they could have a nice healthy dinner and really feel full. All right, so we're gonna put our cabbage rolls just like this, and I'm gonna show you the secret to a delicious, delicious cabbage roll. It's not what you think. The secret is sauerkraut. It doesn't seem like it would go together, but I'm telling you, it does. Now, this again is something that most families back in the Depression would have. They'd have leftover cabbage, they'd have all these leftover vegetables. Now, I grew up with my family adding sauerkraut to the cabbage rolls. It just makes an amazing, amazing flavor. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this in my cabbage rolls, just like this. My hands are clean, don't worry. Besides, I'm the only one eating this besides my husband. He doesn't have a problem with it. All right, so there is the sauerkraut. And then you cover it with more pasta sauce, just like this. Now, because I like mine really runny, I'm gonna add a little bit more water and just add that to my sauce. All right. Now, all I'm gonna do, I'm not gonna cook this now, it's a little bit early, but I'm gonna put some foil on this. I'm gonna cook this for about 2 hours at about 280 to 300 degrees, and it's gonna turn into the most delicious cabbage rolls you've ever had. So let me cover this with foil. Like this. I'm going to put these in the refrigerator until it's time to make dinner. And then I will bring you back when this is ready to start putting together. So my potatoes are all cooked. I'm going to go ahead and mash those into some mashed potatoes, and then we will go ahead and serve this up. This is a very small amount of potatoes, but it's enough for the two of us. This was actually the first time I'd ever grown potatoes in my garden, so it's kind of fun. I never have grown a potato before. I grew sweet potatoes once, but I don't know why I never did it again. I really enjoyed it. All right, I'm gonna put a little bit of butter in here, maybe a teaspoon or so, maybe a tablespoon. We're also gonna put some salt and pepper. All right, let's get dinner served up. All right, we're gonna start off with a couple of these cabbage rolls. I'm gonna put directly on a plate, just like so. Now I'm gonna put some of this extra little good stuff on top of it. We're gonna put some potatoes right next to them. And I always put a little bit of this, I call it gravy, but I know it's just sauce, but I put that right over the top. And there you go. There is dinner. As I told you last night, I still had some strawberries that I wanted to use up, so I finished off the vanilla pudding, and I'm gonna serve that with it, but I thought I would give this a try for you so you know how it tastes. So good. If you haven't had stuffed cabbage rolls before, give them a try. They're very good, very nutritious. When you substitute the cauliflower for the rice, double, double. So thanks for joining me tonight. If you are interested, I'm gonna post the recipe down below. So give it a try. You could also make these in the crock pot if you don't feel like baking them in the oven. Just set them on low for 4 or 5 hours. They're gonna be melting your mouth. If you're not a subscriber, please consider subscribing to my channel. Give me a like, a thumbs up, or ring that bell for future notifications, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.